Hey everyone, this is Marsh from Consequence. I want to talk about Magmorax in the upcoming raid, another patchwork style fight. Honestly, 2 out of 3 mid bosses are going to be like this. So you got a few core mechanics here, and this fight has changed a lot during the testing process. So keep that in mind, depending on what VOD you view. Um, so the core mechanic, or the overall mechanic, is if once boss hits under energy, he enrages, pulses damage, melee's extremely hard, will wipe you very quickly. Um, you have this Molten Spittle mechanic. This is a mechanic that will target 3 players in Heroic and in Mythic, but target 3 players, and those players will leave behind a Magna pool. In Mythic difficulty, 1 out of those 3 will be group soaked, and the other 2 will be taken out just like you do in Heroic. We'll go over that in the diagram in a second. You have the Searing Heat mechanic. This is probably the core mechanical aspect of this fight. So you'll be able to stack up to 25 times in Heroic and 50 times in Mythic. Each stack will do damage to you every second. So you can see here, if you're taking 2k a tick and you have 24 stacks, in theory you could be taking 48k a second. In Heroic testing, the debuff did fall off. So you'll see in the video that you basically want to soak as much as possible when your debuff is off. Um, in Mythic, pretty sure it won't fall off, so there'll be a lot more organization that goes into that. Um, well, you have this igniting roar mechanic, which is basically boss roars, then he does 150k more damage every time he roars, which is just ramping damage on the fight. You have a lava injection, which are soaks on the ground. If you miss a soak, it will leave a pool, which is extremely bad, and it will also give you a 1 minute debuff. And then you have a stomp that knocks you back extremely far, and we'll kind of talk about strategies on how to deal with that. And then you have the blazing breath, which is just a frontal cone that will one-shot you. So, going to the raid plan, there's a few things you can do here, and I'm going to talk about both. So, this is like our plan as of right now on what we're going to do. So you have we're going to take the boss to the side. There should be 3 drop-off points here, but I was kind of doing this for Mythic and Heroic at the same time. So you'd have 1, 2, and I don't know, 3 would be here or something like that. And once they drop, you can soak basically off cooldown. Now, the idea that we're taking it in this corner is because we think this is how it would scale into Mythic, so we're always thinking Mythic difficulty. In Heroic, you might be able to just keep the boss in the middle of the room, and you'll see that in the video actually, and you just soak constantly and then move to the edge at the end. So both probably work, but again, ideally we want to drop here when we'll use the knockback to get out into the next area. So using the knockback to go into the next area is really important. If you're doing the other way, you'll just get knocked to the back, maybe hit a matting pool, something bad that refreshes your stacks and whatnot. So as you see here, these are just indicators for the soaks. These are the drop-off points, and this is kind of general raid positioning. And in Mythic, you'll have 3 soaks, but one will be the group soak, and that group soak would go right here. So hopping over to the VOD. Oh, it's a minute ahead. That is my bad. So you will see here that this, I actually wasn't here at this testing, but you'll see that their idea was to tank the boss in the middle of the room. And what they did is they dropped pools here, and they're having melee soak 1, range soak 1. And that was just the soaks on the ground. Again, that mechanic has changed. That doesn't exist anymore. I think now what's going to happen is you're going to soak, and those won't exist. This mechanic will exist, though. So these are the 3 drops, and you can see they're dropping here. And melee is probably going to grab 1, or range melee, or range is over here, melee's over here. So they're taking, and it's gone, and they're back. So their idea in testing was to soak as much as possible, because the dot does fall off. Again, you'll see another 3. They're dropping on the other side. That's fine. And then you'll see now anyone without a debuff is looking to soak. So here we go. Again, I think these will be able to be soaked. That's the change. But you see here, 2, 3, 4. So now he's taking 4 stacks. And he's able to soak again in 10 seconds. So the idea is like soak as much as possible in heroic, because at this point, like, look how clean this is, right? So again, another drop, and almost the stacks have fallen off. There's the knockback. See how far that goes. So if we were doing this with the other raid plan, right, we would be here, and it would knock us here, and then we just like reposition right here, and then we would probably get knocked this way or something like that. But again, like this middle of the room strat, if you want to run this on the heroic, it is probably better to do this on heroic as just to simplify things. So anyway, they're soaking, soaking, soaking. See how the pools are expanding. He didn't grab a soak, which is completely fine, because he's probably going to look for the random soaks that existed in this testing. Again, this is probably soakable in the new testing. So, yep, there he goes. He's going to grab the soaks, and these are the ones that are being dropped. And honestly, this rinse and repeats the entire counter. So, again, he's going to be doing the roar mechanic. He's going to be doing the knockback mechanic. Also notice how Turtle here, he didn't grab additional stacks. You'll probably also be able to immune your debuff off if you're like a mage or something. So we're going to skip forward here. Now you can see that there's a lot of Magna pulls, a few people are dead, and the Magna is going to start encroaching on the raid. So you can kind of make a call on like when you don't really need to soak, or only soak when you need to. Because again, like the roar does a ton of damage, and in Mythic the group soak will do a lot of damage as well. So trying to make sure you soak only when needed, and that was unfortunate. He just wasn't healed. But the idea is, you know, now they're just like playing a game of like, okay, only soak when it's close, and let's just burn the boss down. As you notice here, the boss is at 64 energy, so they have plenty of time to kill it. 100 energy would be the boss in rage. And the mechanics are going to repeat until the end here. So they'll probably take them as far on the edge as possible. Yep. And now they're just only going to soak when it's close. You see it's encroaching, encroaching. Again, the knockback, you know, when you get knocked back at the end, I didn't talk about this. So getting knocked back in the new zones is very nice. Getting knocked back at the end, using things like knockback immunities or a gateway or something like that, could be like really, really important. In like especially mythic difficulty, like gatewaying 1 or something like that could be crazy. Mechanics of, like, look how far they go. Look at this. Look how far they have to run through the lava. Dead, dead, dead. He was about to die. So like having a gateway just to mitigate the knockback, or like at least having a gateway to get back in, is going to be really, really important. Other than that, that's the encounter. Very straightforward, very easy to comprehend once you get in there. Hopefully this helped, and good luck on Prague. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.